The CARTO 3 system is an advanced mapping system that creates real-time, three-dimensional maps of the inside of a patient's heart. It also shows the location of therapeutic and diagnostic catheters in the heart chambers. The CARTO 3 system is an electroanatomical mapping system. Let's break down what electroanatomical mapping means. First, electro refers to the electrical data the system collects from intracardiac electrograms. The electrical signals help assess activation sequence, or when signals reach localized areas of the heart. And signal amplitude or voltage data helps assess the health of the tissue. Anatomical refers to the three-dimensional location information, both the detailed anatomy of the complex cardiac geometry and the real-time location of the catheters inside the chambers. Finally, mapping refers to the ability to record and catalog the data collected in each location. As you see here, CARTO 3 system maps often appear in color, where the colors are specific to the map type. For example, in the map on the right, the coloring indicates how early the electrical signal was recorded in each area in relation to a reference point. So areas in red are earlier than areas in blue and purple. On other types of maps, the colors indicate different conditions. There are several technologies for visualizing catheters in the heart, and it's important to have a basic understanding of each. One technology is impedance-based. Remember that impedance means resistance to electrical current. Here's a very simple working definition of how impedance-based technology works. Several patches are placed on the patient's body. These patches are in pairs. A single frequency current is sent from one patch to its pair, and a baseline impedance is measured between the two patches. When a catheter is inserted in between the patches, this creates additional impedance. The change in impedance is measured, which allows the catheter to be visualized. Now let's dive into the technology that Biosense Webster uses. Our core technology is actually a combination of two methods, magnetic technology and current-based technology. Magnetic technology involves these key components: the location pad, the three patches that are placed on the patient's back, and a sensor-based catheter. Let's learn how it works. First, let's discuss the body coordinate system. In order to ensure accurate mapping, the CARTO 3 system needs a fixed reference point. The system calculates a virtual location reference, or body coordinate system, BCS. It uses the positions of the three back patches relative to each other and to the location pad to calculate this initial location reference. Then the system monitors this reference point for any changes throughout the study. Now let's talk about how magnetic technology works. The location pad generates a magnetic field. It's important to note that the magnetic field is strongest near each magnetic coil, and it grows weaker with distance from each coil. A sensor-based catheter is inserted into the patient's heart and into this mapping zone, or magnetic field. The sensor in the catheter measures the strength of the magnetic field, which allows the system to determine its distance from each coil. In this way, the system can determine the location in space, or XYZ location of the sensor tip as it is moved within the patient's heart. Here's an analogy to help you understand the concept. Our magnetic technology works on the same principles as a global positioning system, or GPS, as you might have in your car. GPS satellites emit a magnetic field, just as the coils in our location pad do. The GPS tracking unit in your car is like the sensor in the catheter. It measures the strength of the magnetic field, which determines its distance from each satellite and thus its location. As you just learned, our magnetic technology tells us the catheter tip's location in three-dimensional space, or its XYZ location. But it is also helpful to know orientation, or which way the catheter is pointing. This is referred to as roll, pitch, and yaw. How do we determine the orientation of the catheter tip? Our navigational catheters have a triaxial sensor design, which contains 3 coils pointing in 3 different axes, hence the term triaxial. This sensor transmits data about the orientation of the catheter tip. By providing all 6 of these measurements, the CARTO 3 system provides what we call 6 degrees of freedom. It's a highly precise measurement of a catheter's location in space and orientation within the heart toward the cardiac tissue. You understand one type of technology that Biosense Webster uses, magnetic. With the CARTO 3 system, we kept the magnetic technology, but added current-based technology as well. Our current-based technology involves these components: all 6 patient patches, so 3 chest patches and 3 back patches, and a catheter that has electrodes but not a location sensor. Let's learn how it works. Here's how it works. The system generates a small current, which is sent through all the catheter electrodes to the 6 patches on the patient's body. Note that each electrode emits a current at a unique frequency. The 6 patches collect this current and measure the strength of the current at each patch. The system uses this information to calculate a current ratio. A current ratio is the average of the current that each patch is receiving. This ratio is unique to a location and helps identify the location. As the catheter moves, the system recalculates the current ratios and thus can constantly update the catheter location information. Finally, let's learn how we put our magnetic and current-based technology together for a hybrid technology. We combined magnetic technology with current-based technology to create our hybrid technology that we refer to as Advanced Catheter Location, or ACL. It provides a high level of accuracy. Let's learn how it works. The physician moves the sensor-based catheter around within the magnetic field, and many locations are stored by the system. The system then links each current ratio with its respective magnetic location, resulting in a calibrated, current-based field called the visualization matrix. Now the physician can introduce any diagnostic catheter within this matrix and it can be visualized. This diagnostic catheter does not have a sensor, but when it is plugged into the CARTO 3 system, PIU, its electrodes each emit their own unique frequency to all the patches. The computer then identifies the calculated current ratios of each electrode's location and displays it on the CARTO 3 system within 1 millimeter of accuracy. Let's summarize what we learned here. Our magnetic technology provides sensor-based navigation relative to a magnetic field generated by the location pad. It provides accuracy of the catheter location within 1 millimeter, and it provides 6 degrees of freedom, which means it helps us identify the catheter tip's XYZ location and also its orientation in space, or roll, pitch, and yaw. With the CARTO 3 system, we added current-based technology, where each electrode on a catheter emits a current at a unique frequency. This current is received by the 6 patches, and the system calculates a current ratio, which uniquely identifies a location and changes as the catheter is moved. Then, we combined our 2 technologies into a hybrid technology. What this means is that once the visualization matrix is created with one of our location sensor-based navigational catheters, then any electrode catheter by any manufacturer can be visualized on our system. This technology creates a linear field, avoiding the potential distortion on the edges associated with impedance-based technology. Our technology is not affected by biological changes, and it offers outstanding accuracy in catheter visualization. ACL is a hybrid technology that combines the accuracy of our magnetic location technology with the visualization of current-based data. Now that you know the basics, let's review 3 key features of the CARTO 3 system. Let's dive deeper into FAM maps so you understand the basics of how it works. As you just learned, to create a FAM map, the physician moves a navigational sensor-based catheter around the chamber while the system records all the locations the catheter visits. These locations are displayed on the screen as an orange volume, as you see pictured here. The volume is collected everywhere the catheter visits, as long as the system is recording. Then, a gray map surface is applied to the outermost boundaries of the volume collected, representing the endocardial surface. Thus, you hide the orange volume and work in the gray shell. The result is a precise CT-like image of the cardiac chamber. Let's see this process in action. Click the play button. Here's an image showing both a volume and map surface. Remember that the volume is collected everywhere the catheter visits, including internally, but the final map will be the outermost area of the volume. Let's recap what we learned about FAM. FAM maps are created using a sensor-based catheter. The system collects the volume right around the catheter itself. Volume data is created at 60 times per second to create a highly detailed CT-like anatomical map. A FAM map can be created as fast as the physician can move a catheter. You can adjust the resolution of the map regionally or globally. Electroanatomical data can be acquired simultaneously. What this means is that EA points can be acquired during FAM. These points can be projected onto or combined with the FAM map.